I have indeed posted 10 videos and I have got 20 subscribers. The rumors are true. I have posted 10 videos on this channel and I got 20 subscribers, and one of them is actually me with my main channel. If you're new here, hello, I'm Anastasia. It is indeed true. I have posted 10 videos on this new channel and I have gotten 20 subscribers so far. And you might be thinking that that's either a lot or it's actually very little. I've been on this platform for 5 years and my main channel I've been building for that long, and I've made so many mistakes over there. I've crossed 1,000 subscribers on there anyway, somehow, despite all my mistakes. But here with this new channel, I'm actually trying to do things differently. I want to tell you a couple of things that I think about these results. 10 videos, 20 subscribers, and actually what that means if you're in a similar situation. First of all, actually, that's much faster growth than I thought. And you might be thinking that it sounds pathetic because the numbers are so low, but hear me out. When I started on my main channel, the thing that happened is I had a 0 for a very long time. I then had maybe 5 or so, maybe 10, up to 10 subscribers for the next few months. I celebrated hugely when I got to the mark of 20, and actually it was much later down the line. The reason being that I was posting about anything and everything, but that's time for another story. Actually, if you want to know more about all of those mistakes, I've put together 5 biggest mistakes from my 5 years on YouTube into a free download that you can get in the description. It is written with zero AI. It's literally my brain dump from my very human experience and the actual mistakes that I've made. But back to the point number 1. The growth here is much faster, actually, even though it's tiny numbers, and I know that tiny numbers can just feel disheartening, full stop, but I did not expect to start getting subscribers from my first ever videos. I have launched this channel with 3 videos at the same time. I actually intentionally wanted YouTube to know much sooner rather than later who my channel is for and what it's about. So the thing that I'm doing differently here is that it's completely dedicated to YouTube strategy, YouTube advice from someone who's been, in the trenches on the platform for 5 years. And as for people who are either starting right now or they're a few years behind me and they're encountering the same sort of problems of slow growth and surviving the mental game of staying with it and sticking to YouTube for long enough to see success, all the mental health aspects, all the personal growth aspects that come with being on this platform, as well as obviously the more technical strategy advice. So the thing I want to tell you, if, you clicked on this and you thought, well, 20 sounds freaking tiny and I would absolutely quit if I saw that little growth in this time, let me tell you, this is actually decent. And if you're the type of person who is disheartened by results like this, in your first few months of building a thing from scratch, I will honestly tell you, you will probably fail on YouTube and you should probably cut your losses and not go for it right now. It takes a very stubborn personality type to succeed here, and that's because you will be tested by YouTube, by the platform, most likely, by seeing absolutely no growth for a very, very long time until something clicks. But something clicking usually happens much later down the line. And I know that we've all seen videos from people who get monetized from their first ever video because it pops off, but that's not representative of most creators on here. And it's just not realistic for you to expect, honestly, any sort of numbers in the first half a year, let's say. Thing number 2 that I want to tell you is I know now that growth on YouTube is not linear at all. The amount of growth curves that I've seen from people in terms of their views, the graph that you get in the analytics, the amount of times that I've seen it being incredibly flat for years, often years, until it literally exponentially shoots up. That happens for most people. It happens often from one or a couple of videos that start just resonating with an audience and YouTube starts understanding who to feed those videos to so that they perform their best. All of that stuff, when things coincide, when, the YouTube stars align, growth can happen very quickly. And I want you to hold that thought as something that will get you through this period of flatness where you're seeing nothing. It is a very long game. It's a patience game. It's a resilience game. So, if you're seeing 0 results or very low results, or if you're seeing 20 subscribers and you feel like, ugh, it's just not much at all, is it? Then remind yourself that even if your numbers are looking tiny, it's very possible that you're not as far from that growth as you think. If we were on a very kind of linear curve that just consistently grows, then the experience would be that if you're with numbers this low, then that means you're incredibly far, because, you'd be seeing consistent growth and you can kind of extrapolate what the pace of growth would be. And you're like, well, if in this much time I've made this little progress, I'm kind of fucked. But the reality is that with an exponential curve like that, you might well be a couple of videos away, but you might also be many videos away. We don't know. Point being that bear that in mind, because it's literally one of the biggest things that has kept me on the platform this long. It's, almost like dangling a little carrot in front of you. I'm kind of dressed like a carrot. I look like a carrot. Dangling it in front of yourself and being like, I could be one video away. I could be one video away. And it's how you stay consistent. It's how you keep creating. And actually, one time in the future, you will be right about that. And you will actually be one video away. You just don't know when, and you can't predict it. Thing number 3 is genuinely, I'm doing this title because I have seen it work for others. But the thing I want to tell you is that if you're judging your subscriber and view progress video by video, this is recipe for disaster mental health wise. That's the case because we see the YouTube analytics in the YouTube studio, and of course we see the arrows and we're like, oh my god, this is 10 out of 10, which you would think would mean it's actually a freaking great video. But no, in YouTube terms it means that it's the worst one out of the last 10 that you've posted. The thing is that you need to look at your YouTube progress more holistically and more longer term. So I would really encourage you to not judge your progress based on every single week's video if you're doing one per week. It's kind of like seasons, sometimes it takes a little while to get into watching a series on TV, and then you actually finish watching it and then you're like, that was freaking amazing. But I couldn't have told that if I literally was going episode by episode and judging every single one, because maybe there was one that was a bit boring, maybe there's one that didn't really work. But overall, I had an amazing experience and I would watch it again. It's just, an analogy to show you that you need to really expand the thing that you judge. First of all, judge your progress, say like in quarterly chunks, let's say. So 4 times a year, you can look and be like, okay, how much growth have I had overall across all the videos that I've posted? And that kind of evens out the inevitable fact that on YouTube, you'll get some videos, very few videos actually, that perform very well. And then they drag your average up. And then there'll be most videos, the majority of them, that flop and that don't do that well. And they'll kind of be your floor, your views and subscriber growth floor. And your performance is actually in the middle, because, this is so disproportionately good that it brings the average up. But then, the majority is kind of down here. But if you look video by video, you'll be seeing this, the bottom thing, most of the time, and it'll dishearten you. Whereas actually, if you consider a longer period of time, you should be very proud of yourself, because actually you're here. And you need to realize that. Moral of the story is that you need to really commit to YouTube for a much longer period of time. I know that 10 videos might sound like a lot to someone who's just starting right now and is overcoming the barrier of, I feel very anxious to post my first video. But actually, having been doing this for 5 years, 10 videos is absolutely nothing. I would actually say that it takes about 20 for YouTube to start understanding your channel a bit more, if you have a consistent and clear niche. And then if you don't have a consistent and clear niche, it's even longer than that. And then from there, you can start expecting any sort of growth at all. And any growth that you get will likely be very slow. But eventually, something somewhere will work. I fully believe that if you stick to it long enough, something will work. So your task for surviving on this platform is, how can I bring myself to commit to this long term? If you have commitment issues, don't. It's a long-term game, and it really needs you to be in it for the long run. You're not going to see short-term results, most likely, unless you're one of the lucky ones, in which case I congratulate you. But this was my big rant. I hope it helped. Don't forget that there's 5 biggest mistakes from 5 years on YouTube down in the description, completely for free. I hope you feel less alone as well if you're going through it at the moment, and I think you'll enjoy watching this video next. I'll see you over there.